Hi, you guys. Okay, so I wanted to show you some things. My landlord came out today and he painted my patio for me and the base of my umbrella. And I moved things. I've moved things in and put everything in a different spot. Well, pretty much everything. That was still there. Some things have to remain. Okay, now think about this. We're under construction. Oh, I'm working right now. That's why this is here. I'm thinking about a lot of things. First of all, I was sweeping off, the leaves, and he says, I had to sweep my whole patio off. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, I don't have anywhere to sweep it. And he says, why don't you use a dustpan? And I'm like, I'm this neat freak, right? So the things that we discard, we have to be careful with what we do with them, right? We have to be careful about, and that could be people, ideas, people, you have to be careful of who we walk away from and who we discard in our life. We can pick it up and dispose of it, or we can just throw it off a balcony. Now, somebody is no longer in my highest good. I'm not going to throw them off the balcony. They meant something to me at one time, and they still may mean something to me. They're just not in my highest good. So we have to be careful of how we dispose of them and how we handle them. It sounds terrible, dispose, but it's the truth. Also, when you go around here, and I've got my tools, right? I have this old school tool. There's all kinds of new ones, but old school, you can't beat it. There's nothing going to go wrong with this. The metal ones don't break. They can handle a lot of shit. They can handle a lot of abuse, which isn't good, but that means that they can go, they've proven their metal, their worth, right? So I keep this old school, and I've talked to you about bugs, and I don't like to kill my animal messengers, but when I start to looks like there's fog growing on here, it looks like, okay, they're going to start building nests again, so I use natural products. This is just soap. And I spray it on my rose bushes to keep away. And you see, they're not there. I'm not killing my messengers. I do it ahead of time. It doesn't hurt my plants, but it keeps it discourages the plants. See, these are getting eaten by bugs. They also got fried in the sun. So I do it ahead of time. So think about this. Before you allow yourself to get to the place where you are overridden with bugs, now there you go. Unfortunately, I didn't see that. So those are aphids on my hibiscus. They already ate through and destroyed one of my one of the flowers. What they do is they eat at the base, and then they can get out of here. They don't have to stay here and die. They can move if they want. But I'm doing this ahead of time. Before the flowers come out, before something starts to bloom, if you see something attaching to you, the new growth is what we talked about in today's reading. The new growth is delicate, and it's tasty. Think about that. If you are newly awakened, your energy is fresh and it's exciting and it's getting, it's new. So you are able to be attached to by others who want your energy. You're young enough to not know about protection, and they can eat up your green, your worth. You're new and fresh at this, so you have to know about protecting yourself, and it's about using things. Using your brain and protecting yourself ahead of time. So we wake up in the morning and we clear our shield and we re-shield ourselves. My umbrella's up before the sun comes around, right? It's too hot. When we move things around, it shifts energy. This is completely different. That was over here. Everything's been moved. I've shifted my energy. Also, there are messages in the things that I have on the ground. These rocks are from all the different places that I've been. Sedona, Wisconsin, what's it called? Boulder Creek, Felton, different places that I've collected things. I want to see them. They mean something to me. This is one of my walking staffs. I can't remember. I can't remember where I got it, but I'm going to hang something from here. They mean something to me. This one's a little rough, right? The skin on this is a little bit rough, but it's strong and steady. It's short for me. It works for me. So something that works for me may not work for you. Like that tall, thin one. That was good for getting across the river when I was in Sedona, right? And I now use it for something else. So something that's useful for one thing can be useful again for something different. You've already found it useful in one way. Now you're going to find it useful in a different way. And the summer, that needs to be cleaned off. So things that get, again, I'm going to have to wash it. I'm going to have to take it in and wash it. And I just broke. See, now I have to be careful. I just did it myself. I broke my own flower. This one hasn't even opened yet. So when people do things and they break something of ours, and they, like literally, if you knock something over and break something, somebody does, and you get really mad, remember when you did it. Or you can refer to anything. You got to be careful when you move this cactus, because those needles, I didn't even realize. I had a needle in my arm, and it was this long yesterday, and it can fester. So sometimes you don't realize when somebody's put arrows into you. And you're carrying that around with you, and it's infecting you as far as energetically. It's hurting you. It's festering. There's something inside. Look, I'll show it to you. That's where I got it yesterday, and it's left a rash, right? So the poison is in me. So you may not choose to take something in, and I talked about this in the reading today. I watched somebody having something of theirs being laced. They didn't lace it, and I got really mad in the reading. I got mad because I know that one of the people does heroin, and I watched in my dreams how somebody else laced something that they were taking, and it was in order to remember I told you people are using, they're casting spells and they're binding people. Well, what was being done here is somebody is lacing somebody else's coffee or their food. At the time I couldn't figure out what it was. I thought it was their smoothie, but and I said it could have been their coffee mate, and that's what it was. They didn't choose it. Look how red I am. They didn't choose it, right? See, this is why you wear protection, because you get burned if you don't. They didn't choose to lace their coffee. They even said in the dream, I choose it black. But I got really mad, and I'm like, you're hanging out with people who do heroin? Stay the fuck away from me, right? I don't want that. But I saw that they had chosen not to do that. They had the same effects. They were throwing up. Because what happened? Somebody pierced them and they didn't realize that, and they took on the effects of that, and now they were sick with this and they have to work through it. Somebody has been literally poisoning someone that I know. I've been watching them. I've watched them. They can do it in words. They can do it in thoughts. Never underestimate the power of planting a seed. However, you can also do this in a positive. That's why I do these readings. Send them out there. You've got that in the back of your mind, and look at one little ripple. See that one little ripple in the middle of the lake? All you need is one little ripple. You hit that on your speed bump, on your boat going too fast, and you're knocked off course. So, moving things around to regenerate, it also switch things up, look at things from a different perspective, start noticing things now. I like that because I wanted to see it, right? But that's not going to work. That's going to be banging around. That's going to drive me crazy. So that's not going to work there. I'm going to have to move this. Maybe I'll move it over here, and I'll place it here and have it anchored with that. Remember I said I'm gonna put this something here. I knew something was gonna be here. I was gonna hang something on it, but I'm gonna use it for something else. Now that, if I move it to the side, I can see it and it's anchored in. Okay, I'll move it over a little bit. That doesn't look right. That's gotta be level for me. I need things level. Not to mention, everywhere I look in here, and now that's exposed. That plant needed protection. It got too hot yesterday, so I'm gonna have to figure out something for that. What I probably will do is move this to here. Take one of the cactuses or the cacti. They're used to the sun. They can handle the heat, right? This gets baked. So that's another message. I'm thinking about, remember I was talking about pot, right? I'm a super sensitive. Your friend might be able to get baked and they're fine. They can handle it. That's something that they're used to and it doesn't affect their body. I can't. I'm like that petunia right there. If I was in that heat, I would be baked. I would be fried. I would die. That plant was covered with purple flowers yesterday. Purple, spiritual. Remember we said yesterday with one of the colors was purple, there was something wrong with it. The color was wrong. It was fried. It was burnt in the sun. It was too delicate. You can't take that in. You can't get baked and expect your spirituality to remain open. That has no problem being there. No problem at all. Now, that little cactus, strong and sturdy, it came from little tiny pieces and it grew into something big, right? If I chose to put that tall cactus there, the wind would knock that and break. Even though that's a cactus and it can handle the heat, it's too tall. So that might be a cactus as a person. I'm prickly. I'm a different type than you are. I'm not quite as sensitive to you. And yes, I can handle the heat. I can take a lot more than you can. But still, when the wind comes, it's going to knock me over. It's going to knock me off my base. So it's better for me to hang out with those people, right? This is wild mint. So it's also showing me energetically. I'm looking at things as far as holistically. This is really good in your water. Mint, get it in the natural form. The hearts, look at the hearts. They're all different shapes, all different colors, but they're all hearts. And they're all just as beautiful. None is better than the other. I was looking at this little trickster. This is the coyote. And it's interesting because my friend, I have to figure this out. At this point, I haven't figured out what this means yet. I'll figure it out when Spirit wants me to. Things come this way. And I'm doing this little message to you guys right now because today's reading was 2 hours long. And it got pretty intense. And I got a lot of information. And when we get the information coming at you, it takes me a little while to regurgitate it, right? Frick. It takes me a while to regurgitate it, to figure it out. and to understand where it goes and how it applies. And sometimes without knowing, unwittingly or unknowingly, we might react to something instead of be the action, we're the reaction. We don't want to do that. We want to respond. So there might be something I need to take a look at, because I might have got a little bit bent on what I saw, and it might have been coming from past. It might already be handled. Because when you see something in a dream, it could be now or it could be way in the past. This could be something that somebody has already worked through. So I adjusted it, right? I adjusted it's better. It's not going to get knocked over in the wind. I'm going to clean this off. I'll bend that back. It's still okay. Another thing I was noticing is, remember my landlord said, you could sweep it into a pan. You don't have to throw it off the deck. And I didn't mean to actually. I was trying to actually throw it off to the edge, and then I hosed down there. But I was walking around here, and remember the barn swallows, which, I'll come back to this in a second, because I got to do this other thing. And that's probably because he's supposed to be there. I had everything moved over here so that he could paint here. And the barn swallows, remember the family? Look how big the nest is. Remember how at first, Mommy, those babies were coming, and it's like, we got to go now. Remember, Spirit says to us, we need to move now. We need to move right now. You have an opportunity right now. They have an opportunity to move in. You got to take that opportunity. But the house is so tiny. That's okay. You can build onto the house. And that's exactly what Daddy's done. That house is probably 3 times the size that it was. And when they build the nest, there's a mess on the ground, right? And I said to my landlord, it's okay. It's just mud. We're under construction. I'll clean it off, because he's been cleaning all of this, right? Painting everything. We're not going to disrupt that little family from building their home, but it started me thinking about the tools and the information that we get. When we first get it, it makes a mess, right? Like what I just did today. I got all the information. I might have made a little bit of a mess, and I might have thought to myself, shit, did I bend it too much? I made a mess. But we only can do what we can do when we get it. Like, we only know how to react, not to react, how to respond with the information that we have in front of us. And if we aren't given the rules, we don't know how to follow them. If nobody's talking to me and clearing up what I'm misunderstanding, I can only work with what I have in front of me. I will try to be very, very careful, and I'm cleaning as I go along, which is what I'm doing now, all right? This is when we get information, and then I think, okay, well, I'm looking at this in a different light now, so now I'm gonna have to make a statement about that. I gotta clean that up. It also might be you. I'm thinking about somebody very important to me one time said to me, I asked him a question. It was about something that it was questionable and I didn't like it. And I asked him about it, and I said, why did you do that? And he said, I'm a work in progress. We all are. And we are. This is a work in progress, all of us. So never think that when we might have made a mess, we can't clean it up and straighten it up, which means rectify the situation or say, hey, I didn't have that information then, or I experienced that, and now I realize this isn't for me. So now I've cleaned everything up here. I use the pan, and when somebody gives you a thought, like, why didn't I think of that? I'm the one that's a neat freak, right? I'm the one, I'm the teacher. I should know that, right? But I'm not perfect. And so my landlord makes a suggestion, I listen. This is his house too, I need to respect it, right? So I used the dustpan, and I disposed of what I didn't need in a nice way. This stone I got when I was down at the water. I think I'm gonna do this. This is amazing. This was an entire river of crystal. Can you see the crystals? This is all quartz crystal. It's incredible. I was gonna put the pot on it, but I think I'll just leave it like that. I get energy from these crystals. In all of my plants, I have crystals. This one fell out. Now think about that. It fell out. This was a really cool stone that I got when I was in Wisconsin. It's got the perfect little holder for my crystal. They're all charged. These are little saplings that I got. I got this at the river. At the place where I got that, I got this. It's periwinkle. It's gonna grow. It's gonna be a purple flower. I need that. It likes the sun. It's all trial and error. We aren't quite sure where things go until we know if they can handle the heat, right? So in a relationship, I go with this person, you know what, they can't handle the heat. They can't handle what they need to handle. If you're gonna be with me, you're gonna have to handle the heat. I'm fire. You're gonna have to handle the heat. Somebody else may not be able to handle it. That little cactus, it might be a little prickly, but can it handle the heat, right? Right here, I didn't think. These, in Canada, they grow fantastic, but whenever the sun comes around, these beautiful purple petunias, they get fried. I have to shelter them. Whereas this periwinkle, same place, was born in Canada. This was in the forest. It loves the heat. It doesn't get fried. It just depends. So there's a message about signs. Just because you're an Aries doesn't mean you can handle that particular heat. You know what I mean? What else do I want to tell you? I did learn that these were, even though roses can handle the sun, this particular rose bush doesn't like the sun. So it has to be in the least amount of sun. Mr. Rosewood here, he wants the sun. He keeps reaching for the sun. When he doesn't get enough sun, he gets mold on him. He needs to get out into the light. Mr. Rosewood represents my twin. I took him off the side of a dirt mountain where he was failing, and I put him in that pot, and what he really wants is a bigger pot to grow in. He wants a bigger ground to grow in. He's too small where he's at. He needs to expand. He wants to get to the light. He also needs to have the light. This is a beautiful, beautiful flower, which is planted in the same container as Mr. Rosewood. This is a moonflower. It only flowers at night. And the plant itself smells stinky. It's a stinky plant, but the flower smells like, it's like bliss. It's beautiful. And it's funny because my landlord gave me a sign that says, "Stinky cats live here." I must be the stinky cat. The moonstone, right? What else? This beautiful, I loved this. It's covered in cobwebs. We have to get rid of the cobwebs. That's telling you something. My Buddha, my happy Buddha, his head's cracked. He got cracked in the head and he's covered in cobwebs. You need to clear him off. He's beautiful. He still makes a beautiful sound even though he's got a scar on his head, right? He's cracked. Remember in my dream I said, I don't want anything to do with that guy's batshit crazy, but he's mixed with something good? That's my happy Buddha. And his ears are long because something's been dragging on him. Something's been pulling on his ears. Wake up, wake up, wake up. His eyes are closed. He needs to wake up. He's still spinning around. But there's potential. I need to take care of that. I need to clear off the cobwebs and help him. So sometimes we have to help the people in our lives. What else do I have to show you? Some of the things there's a lot of messages. That fern needs to be over here in the shade. It will get burned. But as long as it's in shelter, it can be in a very hot space. As long as it's covered, it'll grow fine. This wants to be in the sun, and I'm having issues with this. I have to figure this one out because this is a lily, and it's deathly allergic. My cats, this is going to hurt them. So this wants to grow to the sun. It wants to be in the sun, but it can't. It does grow here. It probably won't grow as strong in this location. It wants the sun, but if I want it to be in the same pot as the pothos, it's going to be stunted. So you think about that. If you want to stay in the surroundings, this tiger lily, like my cat Lily, she loves the sun, but this particular plant can't be down next to her. She will go to eat it. It makes her sick. Something that it wants to be in the sun, two things want to be in the sun, but this one item will make that other animal sick. You want to keep them together, okay, they'll grow, but they're not going to grow to their potential. The pothos will grow to its potential, right? It'll grow nicely, but this won't, ever. So you have to decide what you want. What's more important, to keep somebody safe? Or should you separate them so that they can all grow to their potential? I have a couple things like this. This is it's to when you light this, it lights, of course, and it's supposed to keep the bugs away. And I can't remember if this is the one that works. One of them I have doesn't work properly. That one doesn't, but it's got this beautiful base. I've got to get a new wick for it. So eventually I'll get a new wick for it. In the meantime, it can be inside there pretty. This is the bear that I found when I was up in, you can see him. It's a shaving that actually a bear peeled off one of the redwoods. And it's literally got the body of a bear. It's very thin, it's very delicate. Right now, this to me is a baby bear, and he needs to be protected. Now, he's not in a cage, but he is behind bars. Do you understand? He's being protected. He can go out, he can move out if he wants, he's free, but he can go back in where he's safe. And right now, that's where he needs to stay for me, because I want to keep him. I want him to get stronger. So as we're young, babies growing up, right? Reawakening, we have to keep ourselves in a place of safety. We have to keep ourselves sheltered away so we won't get broken. We can move around and we can get in and out, but we have to be protected. Hold on. This geranium, they keep mosquitoes away. So protect him and keep him in a place where he's sheltered that's going to stop blood-sucking vampires, energy vampires, right? Nothing's going to get to this little bear when he's protected behind there. He can move out if he wants. He's got fresh air, but he's in a safe house. Basically, that's what they're showing me. You're in a safe house. I got it. This is a, I'm going to make something of this. Right now, I'm just keeping it here on the side. So you can call it your club. You can call it whatever you want. It's going to be a mobile. Things are going to hang from that. It's very light, this wood. So see, this is misleading. You would think that this is heavy. The other pieces of wood are very heavy. This is very, very light. This was driftwood from Cambria. Cambria, that's the name of the town that I couldn't remember the other day that I love so much. This, my friend Ryan made for me. This is filled with crystals and it's charged. This is organite and it protects my house. I have them all over my house inside. This is my Japanese food dog. It's my mother's. Was my mother's. One of the very few things. It's been broken and it's been re-glued, and I will never I will hold on to that and I'm very delicate with this because it's very delicate. It's something that's precious to me. Precious seems to be the word that keeps coming up with us lately. So when you have something that's precious, keep it in an area where it's not going to be hurt. Take care of it. Cherish it, because once it's broken, it's gone, and you won't get another thing back like that because my mom's gone. So it's precious. This doesn't look as sexy. I'm going to have to turn this around, but this is Lily's. This is talk about multitasking. I keep my soil in here for topping off the plants because I live upstairs. It was my old smoothie container for my, power smoothies. This is the wheatgrass. Now, that's good for me and it's good for Lily, but while it's growing, it needs to be where it's not going to get too hot, but it's outside where it's going to grow. It's elevated, so she's not going to knock it down. It's not going to make a mess on the fresh paint. It's all kinds of stuff that we got to think about. And also I'm looking up here on the table. I'm just going with spirit as I'm walking around looking at these things. I rearrange and nothing's going to stay the same. It's all going to continue to keep moving. That's what you do. Keep it moving, right? As you figure something else, move it along. Like I'm trying to figure out where to put this one. I can't remember if it works, so I'll have to test that out. These are more of my heart rocks, right? People are like, God, why do you have all that shit around there? Everything has a story. If I were to tell you every one of the stories, it would take way too long. Look at this heart. 2 halves of one heart. These are my little stacking stones, my noni stones, crystals from Sedona. This reminds me that, he's very different than the family of pine cones, but that's the one I like the best. That one looks like that. That one looks like that. Somebody else moved that there. That wasn't supposed to be there. These are the cousins. Oh, that's why, because he broke off. So one of these, we're together with these two. Remember, one of these is not like the other? Well, one might have been like the others, but he broke away from them, which was like my little prince that was in that drug house. Yes, we are from the same family, but I don't want to be a part of it anymore. So it literally broke away. That was the message. And then these are the cousins. They don't look the same as the family, but they're the same kind of attitude. They stick together. This one was the prince, the young prince that was rescued. And this is my twin. You want to also, everything that I have around me means something. Welcome, friends, right? The fact that everybody is different, we're all united. So we say that everyone is welcome. As long as you come in love, right? You come in love, you're welcome. We're all in the midst of transformation. As my friend said, we're all in a work in progress. So when we all come together, our energy lights up. We're all protected by spirit when we walk upon our path and we do what we need to do. Now, right now, this little fish hook lure is getting hooked to me. I had this fish lure reminded me of, I'm a Pisces and so is someone else in my life, and it's hooked on me. So the cords are wrapped around me. Now, I don't like cords being wrapped around me, and it's ruining my outfit. You're ruining my outfit, dude. Get off of me. So stop wrapping your cords around me. Whoever, this one's caught on a hook. So this one's caught in something, right? This one's being used as bait to catch me, to draw me in. And he's wrecking my outfit. I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang this fish out to dry until you get the message. You're being hung out to dry. I'll look at this and I'll remember what this means. Right now, you can't hurt me. And right now, you can't hurt yourself. Because right now, you wrecked my brand new outfit. I like this. Now I'm going to have to do damage control, right? So the influence of others has caused you to damage me. And now I have to do damage control. I want to show you, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I watch this from my window. I've learned this. That's why I've moved things around. This was always here, but this was somewhere else. This was over here. The hummingbirds love these pink flowers, but the sparrows, they come and they like the little nutty part that dries out. they feed on that. So what is one person's flower, this you would cut off. I leave it because there's little seeds in here that feeds my sparrows. So what's, you know, one person's poison is another person's treasure, right? Inside this plain stone, there's a bunch of crystal quartz, and it's actually rose quartz if you see it in the light. And look at the heart in the center of it. Isn't that amazing? Piece of pizza. I think of pizza. I think of everybody wanting a slice of the pie. That's just 1/4 of the pie, one piece of the pie. So many messages coming to me. So I could just go on and on as I look through my stuff. I'm looking at this, and right now this doesn't work anymore. I got to replace it. It's pretty, but it doesn't work. So I'm going to get rid of it. My dragonflies, they light up. This got broken. It no longer works. So even though it's holding on to my star in my heart, it's a mess. It doesn't work. It's just hanging there. So even though something might be pretty and it's not useful for you, it's got to go. So don't constantly hold on to things that no longer work for you, even if they are beautiful. It doesn't work for you. If it's hurting you, it's got to go. You got to be gentle about the way you do it, but Queen of Swords has got to cut some things off, right? So right now, I think we're done with this. I'm trying to figure out where I could put this. Oh, I got to test this. Oh, I forgot to tell you. This, I used this for something else, and I chose to do something different, and I repurposed it. This was my mother's. My religion is kindness, and that's a fact. I bought that for her for a present. This is Merlin's wand. I got that in Sedona. Looks like Merlin's staff. I love it. This little trickster reminded me of my friend Troy because his band is called Coyote Ghost. And the coyote is the trickster. The trickster, you learn to laugh at your mistakes. And what's interesting to me is what he's holding. He was a candle holder, but he's not now. He's holding on to a Juicy Couture crown. And you don't see the Juicy Couture on here, but that's what this is. This is the crown. Remember we spoke today about the crown, the royal family? And that trickster's got that crown in his mouth. So I don't know if that means that the lion has got you in your mouth and about to swallow you up, because the trickster's in a much better position. Or is he? Is the crown prying open the jaws saying, you're not going to do this? Because remember we spoke today about the protection that we had around us, the Rottweiler, and how their jaws would clamp down on something, and they're not going to let go. They're going to protect you. They're not going to let go until you let them down to the ground. They won't let you go until you let them down. So they're going to stay loyal with you. This coyote is not able to keep his mouth closed, right? His mouth is being held open by the Juicy Couture crown. Interesting messages that I'm getting as I'm looking at this, because I was thinking something different when I first looked at it. Again, you might be growing tall, but this cactus here is picking up all kinds of junk, like cobwebs, right? These are cobwebs that are getting attached. Ouch, and I just got hurt. See? It just got me in 3 different spots. I only felt the one, but it hurt me. I've got 3 different needles in it. I only felt one, but there's 3. It's picking up a bunch of junk. So you might be strong, you might be handling the heat, you might think that you're okay. So this is another message. Well, my brother can't do this, but I can handle this. My body knows how to handle it. No, you can't, because you know what? You're still picking up stuff from the outside. When you smoke that pot, when you do that drug, whenever you drink, whatever you do that you think that you can handle, that your little brother can't handle, you're still picking up stuff from outside sources. And it's sticking to you. And pretty soon, you're going to be a mess. You're leaning to the side. You're not as strong as you think you are. And when a good wind comes along, without support for you, you're going to get knocked over too. This one's smart to get out of there. So you laugh at somebody who takes care of themselves until you find out that, wow, maybe that was something I should have done. You know, I wasn't taking care. All right, you guys, that's probably it. There's another one of my hearts. There's my lion, and there's my sea puppy. That's my, I don't know if you guys can see my sea puppy. Seal, right? See his eye? And a lion. Interesting. Lined up right there. They're both on the wall. I'll think about that. I'll think about that tomorrow in Tara. Anyway, that's going out. You can walk around your own patio and think of things like this and see what Spirit is trying to tell you. Now, interesting, what just happened? One of the cousins just fell down. Okay, so that cousin who's doing the drugs and thinks he can handle the heat, now think about handling the heat. The heat's coming after you. Big Brother's coming. You better get the hell out of there, because that cousin, that one separated, got over there and got to a place where it was safe. Maybe you got caught and you're in a place where it's safe. You're hanging out to dry. You're drying out. This one's still over there doing it. You're still mixing it up. It's still hot for you. But what happened? That cousin just fell. Remember I said, you may think that you're strong, you may think you can handle it, but you're going to fall. You may fall health-wise, or you may fall because the law is going to come get you. So, little fish on the hook, recognize that you will have an endless summer if you stay wrapped in love, surrounded with healthy alternatives, out of the heat. Love you guys.